We are back with our next guest, my very, very dear friend, Marie Calla Quartell. I'm so excited that you are here. Thank you. Marie is a family law attorney who practices in North Palm Beach. She is up and coming. She is a dynamo. She graduated from the University of Miami Law School. She has been practicing since 2002. She is someone that I go to brainstorm and to collaborate with, and she and I have spent endless hours talking about how people hire the wrong lawyers, spend so much money, and waste so much time, and then they find the right lawyer, one of us. Recently, Marie wrote an article called How to Choose Your Own Attorney. So I'm going to ask Marie to share with us three tips that you should be looking for when you're interviewing your attorneys. And as Amy just told us, it's best to try to interview three. So Marie, welcome.
Thank you, Tammy.
I'm so glad you're here.
It's great to be here.
Okay, good. So tell us, I know that you just wrote this great article, and we're going to put a link on our website to your website, and they'll be able to download the article there. But why don't you tell our viewers three tips. What should they be looking for when they are going in to interview a lawyer?
I would say the first tip would be you're going to want to look for someone that comes by way of personal referral. Talk to some of your friends and family members who have experienced the divorce process and find out from those people how the lawyer performed in their case. Did the lawyer seem to care about them as a person? Was the lawyer more interested in being paid and the money rather than caring about you as a person? You should really get that sense that your lawyer cares about you at the initial interview. As Tammy's last guest explained, it is very important to interview more than one attorney. Some lawyers will charge for a consultation. I personally don't. I guess I'm a little bit old-fashioned that way. I think that you should be able to interview as many lawyers as you feel you want to interview without having to pay them for it.
For the initial interview.
Yes.
That's your meet and greet. I get to know you, you get to know me, and we decide. So you offer a 1-hour consult free?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. That's great to know. What if a client doesn't know anyone, or they're don't really feel comfortable telling anyone that they're contemplating a divorce, so they don't want to start asking people, do you know a divorce attorney? What do you recommend those people do?
Well, in Palm Beach County, we have the Palm Beach County Bar Association, which will refer you to an attorney. Additionally, you can look on the internet to get information about different attorneys out there. Check out the person's website. That website should contain information about the lawyer's skills and qualifications. Most definitely, you really want someone who has litigation experience. Family law, as you know, is a practice which necessarily involves going to court. So you're definitely going to want someone who has been to court, who knows the rules of court, and you may even want someone who has experience with the judge on your case. Because of course different judges conduct their proceedings differently. And you really want someone who is experienced in that judge and that judge's rules. They're supposed to be consistent, but different judges, different personalities. You're definitely going to want someone who knows the lay of the land and who has been to court before. So in the event that the person can't settle their case, which of course people should always try to settle their case, but if in the event that they can't, you're going to want someone who is experienced in fighting in court so that they'll be able to fight for you competently.
Right. So there are other options to litigation. Obviously, clients can mediate their cases using mediators. They can also use collaborative attorneys for a collaborative divorce, or they can pick a litigator. Not everyone is necessarily going to litigate. Some divorces are a little bit more amicable. So if someone feels that they're looking for an amicable divorce, they might look for someone who talks about settlement more than litigation. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And any lawyer that you go to should seek first to settle your case. Actually, we have an obligation as family law attorneys to help people settle their differences amicably, because sometimes you have kids involved, and anytime you go to court, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be very adversarial. It necessarily involves maybe saying very unkind things about the mother or father of your children, and you don't necessarily want to do that. You definitely want a lawyer in the initial interview that is going to talk about going to mediation and settling the case. I mean, I know you're a family law mediator.
Firm believer in settlement.
Yeah.
I try to avoid litigation, and I spend very little time in court because I try to get my clients to settle. What is your second tip that you can give to people regarding how to choose an attorney?
Well, you would want to discuss with the person their relationship with opposing counsel. Different lawyers work together differently. And if you do not have a good relationship with opposing counsel, you're not going to get professional courtesies that it'll cost more money. If you have a person who doesn't know the other lawyer or has terrible things to say about the other lawyer, that could cause you to actually spend more money in the divorce process, because you want lawyers that are going to work together and be cooperative with each other. If you need a continuance, setting court dates. You don't want to have to haul the other lawyer into court for every little issue in order to resolve some of the smaller issues in your case.
That's a great tip. In fact, there have been clients that I have turned away because the spouse on the other side selected an attorney that I do not like working with. And it would be better for the client to find an attorney that can go toe-to-toe with that type of lawyer. So that is a great tip. Thank you. And what is your third tip?
Well, initially when you meet with your lawyer, you will want to look out for whether or not the person discusses, is seeking to find out the most important issues in your case. You won't want someone, initially when you interview a lawyer, you would not necessarily want someone who is really only concerned about your assets. I would run from the guy or the girl who is really only interested in how much money you have. You really want someone who's going to initially discuss important issues to you, parenting issues, whether or not you're okay, how are you emotionally, is everyone getting along as it relates to the children, how is the time sharing going, is he paying child support, some of the really important issues that are concerning you right then and there. These are some of the things that should be talked about initially.
That is an awesome tip. Thank you for sharing that. It's so true. A lot of times you may go in and they really only want to know, what are your assets? How much money do you have?
Yeah.
They're really not asking you, how are you doing? How are your children doing? And they're really just more concerned about, do you have my retainer available? I've heard some lawyers have you pay for the hour consult before you even meet with the lawyer. You pay at the desk.
Yeah.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Marie, I really want to thank you for coming down here. You've given some great tips. If someone wants to retain you, where can they find you? Tell our audience.
Well, my offices are located at the corner of PGA and Military in Palm Beach Gardens in the Sun Trust Building. Of course, I have a website.
Great. What is it?
It's callalegal.com, www.callalegal.com.
Great.
So you could look on my website, or
we're going to put a link from our website to yours so people can find you and get your great article as well.
Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that.
Okay, thanks for joining us.